Hello. Love wrestling. Sunday morning post the other company's night one of their big shows. But we are here. We got a lot of things to discuss, Drew. Now, Drew and I have to admit, we did not watch Collision last night. That did not air until midnight with the NCAA and them trying to avoid Mania. And stuff like that. So both Drew and I, because there's only so much wrestling we can sustain, we need sleep and energy. So we did not stay up super late to watch Collision. However, Collision was recorded and did happen at the same site as Dynamite, which was Worcester, Massachusetts this past week. And your boy was in the building. So I saw what happened on Collision. Now, I don't know how commentary did things. I don't know the order of the show. I didn't know if everything was in order. We really just saw matches and like some promos and things like that. So I don't really know how the show went. There was some breaking news of something they announced on Collision that is going to happen on Wednesday that already has the internet losing their minds. Now, I don't know if this is something to take the wrestling world needle off of WWE and WrestleMania for the afternoon until night 2 starts. And they want some chatter on the AEW side of things on this big weekend. That is usually mainly the WWE's weekend here.
If that was their goal, they succeeded in that goal.
Yeah.
But I can't, well, let me let you finish. Go ahead.
Well, yeah. So last week, I believe it was on Monday or Tuesday, one CM Punk sat down with Ariel Helwani. And it was like a 2-hour interview, Drew. I don't know if you listened to this whole thing. It was a good interview. Like CM Punk was very forthcoming with things he talked about. He seemed very calm, very relaxed. He seemed,
almost too relaxed. Which he himself even said, like, "Oh, I'm probably going to get shit for this."
Oh yeah. And so it was one of those things where, yeah. So he sat down. He talked in long form with Ariel Helwani. He obviously talked about his WWE side of things, his return, how things have been going, the injury, and all that stuff. But then, this is an AEW show, so he discussed and he was asked, "Yo, Omar, happy birthday, my friend." Omar popping in the chat.
Happy birthday.
It is Omar's birthday, so everybody wish Omar a happy birthday in the chat. We got Scott also in the chat. Good morning to you, gents. Good to see you. He was also asked a lot about AEW and how things happened, how it went there, especially, he was asked about the brawl out situation, but he said, I have NDAs on that one, so I can't talk much about that one. He said a little bit, but he really didn't dive into brawl out that much, but he did talk a lot about what happened at All In with him and Jack Perry. I have some of the transcripts and that stuff over here too that we can dive into. So I figured we'd be talking a lot about that. And in response to that interview, last night on Collision, AEW announced that Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, the Young Bucks, who are in the finals of their tag team tournament, they're going to show footage. And according to SRS, as of this moment, he has been told, at least at the beginning, that this is not like a troll thing. This is not a troll job, it seems like, at least as of this moment, to be legitimate. Like they are going to actually show all in backstage footage that nobody's ever seen before, and they are going to discuss it. The Young Bucks will be discussing it for the first time as well.
It's gonna be something. All right. Man, after WrestleMania night 1, I'm just like getting in bed, getting ready to, sleep because I had a long, long Friday. Long Friday.
Yeah.
I was gifted a ticket to WWE World by a good friend. I rented a car and I drove down to Philadelphia, 2 hours. Not that long, but, driving driving can be taxing on the body sometimes.
Yeah.
Uh, Drove down, got there around 2:00, 2:30, parked and walked around and took amazing pictures, which you can see on my Twitter right there. That's the handle.
Yep.
Got to be in Bray Wyatt's Firefly Funhouse.
Awesome.
I got to sit at the head of the table, which a
Mm.
former me would have been very, 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 overjoyed with.
Yep.
I was overjoyed with it too, but Big Money Drew would have been, oh my God. Um, and yeah, I just got to experience that, and it was amazing. It was one of the most fun things I ever did.
Mm-hmm.
And I told that friend, hey, you know what? We're gonna go over to SmackDown too. I'm gonna treat you to SmackDown since you treated me to this. And that was an amazing show. And I saw Paul Heyman's Hall of Fame speech live.
Dude, all-time great speech. All-time great speech. Fantastic.
Yeah, it was
Fantastic.
the ambiance and the building.
Philly was right. It was the perfect building, perfect city for him to go. Like, and I thought his speech was. I know this is an AEW show, but I thought that was one of the best, if not the best, Hall of Fame. That was an incredible Hall of Fame speech by Paul Heyman. And I've
Yeah,
always been a Paul Heyman guy. I've loved DC. I loved the original ECW, but like that was perfect. And the way he talked about Triple H and even Stephanie, and just the message he said to his kids when he was talking to his kids about going to fight, follow your dreams and
amazing,
things like just incredible,
emotional. I
incredible. Yeah,
teared up.
big time.
Everyone,
Big
I
time.
mean, it was just incredible.
Yeah.
So I'm saying all that because, by the way, Linda McMahon was in the audience too.
Was she really?
Yes.
Linda.
Hmm.
Wow, been a time. How's Linda doing? She look all right?
Well, she wasn't addressed, obviously, for
I
obvious
would hope not.
reasons.
Oh yeah, I would
But
hope not.
Nick Khan personally escorted her to
Okay,
ringside,
fair.
and
Yeah, because Vince ain't gonna be there. We're never
no,
seeing him ever again.
no,
So
no.
yeah,
Um, and then I drove home after that, so I didn't
it's
get
what, a couple
home.
hours for you from New York to Philly. Couple
Yeah,
hours.
2 hours. Yeah,
Okay.
so I
Yeah,
got home around 2:00 in the morning,
not bad.
and slept a lot on Saturday.
Mm,
I slept a lot.
yeah,
So I was like, all right, WrestleMania night 1's over. I'm heading to bed because Collision's already taped and blah blah blah, whatever. So I'm laying in bed and I've got the phone on and I'm scrolling through, and all of a sudden I see this image pop up that the Young Bucks are dressing all in and there's gonna be footage.
yep.
I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yo,
We're after 5 minutes. Okay, good. We're after 5 minutes.
is it
Are you?
5 minutes or 10 minutes? I thought we didn't make it. I thought we were a minute
Oh,
over.
is it? Oh, oops.
Either
Well,
way, it's fine.
my apologies. Um, like, are you kidding me? This is. I didn't know how to feel about it, and I went to sleep, and then I woke up, and I'm not. I have been. I won't say an AEW diehard, like wave the flag
Yeah.
in the
Obviously, we're very
tribalism way.
we're
That
very pro AEW here. Obviously, we
yes,
do a show on this Love
I
Wrestling
have
Network
a
dedicated to
slew of
AEW.
AEW merch,
Yes.
a whole
Yes.
box dedicated to AEW, in my obviously it's not really behind me, it's a virtual background, but
Yeah.
it's a whole box dedicated to AEW
Yeah.
along with the TNT title behind me. Um, I'm a big AEW guy,
Mhm.
obviously. I haven't been a WWE guy for quite a while, but I can tell you this week
You're back in, baby. You're
I'm
back
back in.
in. You're
I'm
back
back
in.
in. Because
Now the
not
key for
only did
that
I go to
is
SmackDown and WWE
yeah,
World on Friday, I
yeah.
went for the very first time ever, the only show I could check all of them off my box, all the list, yeah. I went to Raw for the very first time on Monday here in Brooklyn.
Mm,
Got to see The Rock in person, got to
damn right.
experience that entrance.
Damn right.
Oh, that was I met a I met a total stranger next to me. We ended up chatting the whole show. I got his Twitter. We're like buddies now. It was really cool. Um, it was just an amazing experience. This whole week of
Mm,
WWE for me was amazing. It really was,
yeah.
which I never thought I was going to say.
Mm.
I thought I was out of that completely.
Nah, dude. Triple H rejuvenating all of us. All of
And The
us.
Rock,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so I wake up this morning and I go, okay, how the hell do I address this without coming off like a sour, whiny AEW guy, like unfortunately lots of people right now.
Mhm.
Um, and I think like the best way that I can put it is just why. Why I mean I understand Punk went and said what he said on Monday, but why? Why do we have to do
I Yeah, I and Lawrence said so Lawrence in the chat, he said casual wrestling fans don't care about this. And this just makes everyone look bad. I love mess, but they should just move on. Lawrence, I don't think this makes everyone look bad. I think this specifically makes AEW look bad.
Oh, I'm
That's how I
glad I'm
feel
not the
about
only one
this.
that thinks that.
I look at this
Oh,
and I go,
ugh.
you're just look, I get it. I get it. CM Punk talked on Monday. He said a lot of things. I didn't think CM Punk was that disrespectful in what he said. I think he was very
Me neither.
calm, very reserved, and he said what is his telling of that story. Now, if AEW or the Young Bucks want to come out and say their telling of the story, if what CM Punk said is only one side, and
I have a rebuttal to that though, but
that's
finish
fine.
and then I'll get
That
to what
that's fine. Like to me, right? I think this makes AEW look petty. And I think this makes AEW look like a bunch of babies. And
uh,
I think this is just like, oh,
this
CM Punk
I
said
you
bad
don't
things
know.
about us, so let's go do. It's like, dude, no. And I get it. You can say the Young Bucks are the Young Bucks. This is very Young Bucks thing that they would do
Yeah,
here. I'm hoping that it's a storyline and the footage is just like making fun of FTR or something along those lines
well,
to set up. But as of right now, what we are hearing is this is legitimate. They are going to show shit and they are going to talk about shit.
yeah.
And to be honest with you, Ophelia, I don't necessarily disagree with you, but I don't think CM Punk was being petty. When I listened to that interview, I did not take that as, oh, this is CM Punk being petty. Now, what we know about CM Punk is he could have whatever motives in his brain. He could have been playing an act for us in front of us during that interview where he did seem calm and reserved. This guy can go off the hinge at any second. He has a history of it, right? But at the same time, to me, it looked like CM Punk was calmly reserved, telling his side of the story. And now AEW are like, how do we get back at him? How do we tell our side? And it just looks like they're a bunch of bitches, to be
I
honest with you.
so
That's how I feel.
what I had feared on Monday when after Punk's, spiel was a Tony Khan tweet. I was like, "Oh no. Please somebody take his phone away.
Mm.
We don't need anything addressing this." And then it was like right after I saw I I have some people's notifications on Twitter. Tony
Yeah.
Khan's one of them because
Yeah.
he breaks big news and he does stuff. I have Sean Rossapps on. I have a couple of other people. Um, I saw Tony Khan notification. I'm like, "Oh, no. Oh, no. Thank God it was nothing about wrestling. It had to do with some
Mhm.
guy in football that died." Like, "Oh, thank God. It wasn't about this. It seems like we're just gonna let this go. They're gonna move on to Dynasty. We're not gonna address any of the stuff." And then, obviously, well, that's not happening now. But now what I wanted to refute what you were saying, this isn't brawl in, a brawl
Mm.
out, I mean. That's something that the Bucks can come out and say, "Oh, so this is actually what happened," and blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. This wasn't involving them.
No. Well, they're
This was
EVPs, so they could have been involved,
but this was
right?
from all sides,
Yeah. This was
any
just
what
Jack Perry and
anyone
CM
has
Punk.
said, this
Yeah.
was Punk, Jack Perry,
And Tony Khan.
and Tony Khan.
Yeah.
And we got one side of it from one camp, from the
Mhm. Which
person
we'll talk about.
themselves,
I have the transcripts and
right,
everything
which
up.
we'll
We'll
get
talk about
into.
that. Yeah.
But nobody else that was involved on the other side is talking about it.
Jack Perry hasn't even come out and said anything about like nobody has said anything. And now all of a sudden, why are the young but like
But
this
what's
to me? Yeah, go ahead.
so what makes this worse for me, honestly, is like like last night before I went to bed, I was saying to myself, okay, you know, they must be showing it for a reason. They can't be they can't be showing this just because Punk talked about it on Monday. There's gotta be like it's gotta show that Punk is lying about what he said. It's gotta show him going after Tony to say that he feared for his life. It's gotta show that he attacked Perry first, and it wasn't just a calm, walking up to him, whatever he said. It
Mhm,
like it's gotta show that that was like an absolute lie, and that he was just totally blowing out of proportion to make himself look good because he
mhm.
didn't think that they were going to actually respond in this manner.
Yeah.
But then I saw they're not even going to show the Tony Khan part of this. It's
No.
only going to be the Jack Perry part. I'm like, but I feel like the Tony Khan part is the more important part. Why does it matter? I mean, obviously it matters if he attacked Jack Perry first and he lied about it on Ariel Helwani's show. But I feel like the one that people are really wanting to focus on and see more is what made Tony Khan fear for his life.
Mm,
And that's not even gonna be shown or addressed.
no.
According to I think it was Dave Meltzer or somebody said that.
Yeah.
Like, okay, but wouldn't you wanna put that out there? That makes me think, "Oh, well, maybe Tony Khan didn't have a right to fear for his life, and he was just inflating that in order to justify firing Punk."
Mhm,
So, already I'm like, "Ooh, I don't know what's gonna happen there." And, it's not like and the other thing too is it's not like this just came out of thin air. Punk clearly addressed it. So, I can't necessarily fault them for wanting to clap back,
mm,
because it's like, okay, you CM Punk open the door for it to be talked about publicly.
yep,
As much as the EVPs have done their little nitpickings of stuff, uh, you know, shouting out Jack Perry the other week on Dynamite, or was it just this past week on Dynamite? It might have been this past week actually.
yeah, I think it was this past week.
Um, clearly they doing that for an obvious reason.
Mhm,
They've done these little things. Punk has also done little things on Instagram. He's done an Instagram story showing, like where it would be like not addressing AEW, but it's obviously about AEW. there's been this back and forth thing, so it's not like this is coming out of nowhere. So in that respect, I'm like, okay, you know, Punk opened the door. Now we can address this publicly. Fine. But you don't need to do it. You could be you could be the bigger person and just be like, you know what? He said his piece. Let them believe whatever they want to believe. We move forward. That's it. It's over. Now it's out there. Let them talk about it. That's it. But
Mm.
I don't know. I feel like, you know, nothing. Okay, maybe they'll show CM Punk attacked Jack Perry first, and he lied about it on Ariel Helwani.
Again, and I
What
have the
does that
transcript
do?
here, but like I don't think CM Punk necessarily said that Jack attacked him first. I don't remember. I remember CM Punk saying, I asked Tony to handle this. And then he walked by me and I said, dude, why are you doing this internet shit? And Jack said, oh, if you got a problem, do something about it. And CM Punk said, I thought I was being responsible. I thought I was protecting everybody. But yeah, I didn't punch him or anything. I just choked him a little bit. So it seems to me that CM Punk admitted that he was the first one to physically do something with Jack Perry. He admitted that he went to Tony first and said, hey, can you handle this, please? And Tony didn't do anything, which was really, that's the vibe. And Lawrence even said it. He didn't disparage AEW. Like he said, he has plenty of friends there. He hopes they all do well. He doesn't want them to get in trouble. Ariel Helwani even asked him, he said, if you saw Tony Khan tomorrow, what would you say? And CM Punk was like, I'd say, hey, Tony, what's going on? Tony's a nice guy. He's just not a boss. He's a nice guy. So like CM Punk wasn't even really, he didn't even like talk bad he didn't even talk bad about Jungle Boy. He just said he's a young kid that's getting involved with internet shit and he's acting dumb. Like, what are you feeding
But you
into
know
this
what?
crap?
To them,
That's talking bad.
that's talking bad. Yeah,
Like
that's the
CM
thing
Punk could
because
have went out there and said AEW is the most unprofessional place I've ever been. Nobody should go there.
well,
Tony
he
Khan's a
didn't say nobody
joke.
should go there, but he did
No,
kind of it
he
without
said
saying that,
yeah, he said
kind of
it
said that a
like
little bit.
he said it's not his. He didn't like the management style. If he knew what kind of company it was, he maybe not might not have want to been there. But he could have easily come out and been, yeah, that is not a good company. It's not run right. Blah blah. He was just like, look, that's not. They're not.
Yeah,
We're not in the same business. We're not in the same business. I thought I was going there to sell tickets and to draw houses, and that's not the business they're in. And Ariel Helwani said, well, what you keep on saying that? What is the business they're in? And CM Punk said, I don't know. Just to go out and have good matches. I don't know. I don't know what their business is, but I thought it was about making money and selling out houses and getting ratings, but that's not what they're about. That's not what they're about.
he
And
also
that's,
I remember well, you were reading the direct quote from him, right?
well, I have the question. He's talking about it's a long
What was the
response.
part when he said like, "Oh, the wrestling more for five-star matches when the building isn't half full or something?" It was like he said something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, something like that. Hold on. Hold
Um,
on now. Go. You can talk if you want to
yeah,
talk because it's little writing, so I gotta like run through everything here.
yeah. Um, yeah, it's like I feel like showing anything just proves everyone who's talked badly about them right.
Yeah.
Like it proves Eric Bischoff right. It proves I'm gonna say these names that I know, trigger warning for some people, honestly, for the content that they put out, but it treats it says what Jim Cornette has said about them, right?
Bischoff.
Bischoff, it says what Bully Ray has said about them, right? It's really like these people who I don't agree with most of the time. I respect what they've done in the business, but I don't agree with a lot of things that they say about AEW in particular. Um,
Mhm.
I now have to say, I now have to say, well, that thing Jim Cornette said, not wrong. And that felt disgusting. I just cringed inside saying what I just said. For all the digs at them about them being unprofessional, about them being childish, about them being pretty. This is it. This is what everyone has said about them coming to
Mhm.
life
There's
because
5 pages of this interview, by the way. But I'm listening, go ahead.
it's 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 it sucks because I right now don't see a way that this is good. Actually, and I will say this might be a bit too much, but it's just how I feel right now. This has the potential to be their finger poke of doom moment.
I think if they do this a certain way, I think it will turn off a lot of people. And, you know, to me, I like AEW. I like them in general. I like them as an alternative to WWE, even though I still have always watched, and I think now, like you said, WWE is kind of turning a corner here a little bit. I'm still gonna watch AEW. I still love AEW,
Oh, me
but
too.
like
Yeah.
you demean yourself and you make yourselves not look serious when you do this stupid bullshit. And you hear all the stories that make you look bad. You hear all the stories that make your owner look bad. And to me, this is doing something like you said that just proves those stories right. That this is the type of place you're running. You're petty. You're not really like again, if this and not everything can measure up to WWE because WWE is in a different stratosphere. But if something like this were happening, if a wrestler from AEW who left WWE had an interview with Ariel Helwani, like CM Punk did, and he talked about WWE and some things that went on there the same exact way that CM Punk did, do you think, and take Mania week out of it, but do you think tomorrow night on Raw, we would see Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes going out there showing some footage from something to prove that person wrong? No. Triple H and the brass would go, he ain't here anymore. Who gives a shit?
Well, okay.
They might take a dig, maybe like a
They'll take
one-liner
a dig,
dig somewhere or
but
something like
but
that.
what
They're
I
not going to dedicate they're not going to get the internet a buzz for 5 days and dedicate a whole segment or make you think they're dedicating a whole segment to talk trash about. Like they're not doing that.
so here's a funny thing that I just thought of while you were saying that. Ironically, they did do this once. Well, they
When?
did it twice, but one time they did it off TV, the second time they did it on TV.
I don't remember this.
The one they did on TV that they addressed were Sasha Banks and Naomi walking out. Now, they didn't do an interview to lead to that,
Mm.
but that was like a very much the internet is talking about this right now, and we're addressing this on
Oh
TV.
yeah, but that
That was during
okay.
Vince.
That was Vince, and what was the response to that? You petty asshole. That
Yes.
was the response, which is how I feel about this.
The other thing
You know?
involved the same person who started this on Monday. In 2014,
Yeah, when he left.
when CM Punk left and he did the podcast interview with Colt
Mhm.
Cabana and he talked shit about the doctor,
Mhm.
they, not on TV, did a whole PowerPoint like slide
Mhm.
presentation defending themselves, showing CM Punk's back with the circle around the cyst or whatever it was
Mhm.
that he was directly talking about, like trying to defend themselves.
Oh
They
yeah.
did it off TV. They didn't do it on TV.
Mhm.
I feel like if they didn't do this on Dynamite and they did it off TV, I would feel a little bit better about it. A little bit.
Yeah,
But
if they just decided they were releasing hey, we're going to talk about this, it's going to be on YouTube or on, our AEW YouTube or something like that. We're going to address the CM Punk interview and tell our side. Okay, I still would be like, just move on, man. Like what's the point? You have Okada, you have Mercedes, you have all these new Will Ospreay. You have this new thing you're doing where you're like, "Oh man, AEW's hitting." Like, why? Why are you addressing?
and I
Like,
think
you're just setting yourselves backwards, man. Just move forward with who you got. That's it. Like it's just
it's
I
gonna
don't know.
undo what's been I mean, and not that anything's been built between WWE and AEW, but like, okay, Punk talked about it, but he addressed Tony Khan in a nice manner, said he was a nice guy, not a boss, but a nice guy.
Hmm.
Seth Rollins this week
Yeah, he said pro
also
things. Yeah.
said that Will Ospreay, he was proud that Will Ospreay was at a top level in the business right now. And
Hmm.
that means that he was calling AEW top level,
Yeah.
where, other people like Bischoff and co have said that they're, even lesser than ECW at this
Yeah.
point.
Hmm.
That's somebody who was in the main event last night of WrestleMania calling AEW top level.
Mm.
Um, really like when and another part, reason why I'm going to say this is because another part in that interview with Ariel Helwani, Punk basically came out and said, "Yeah, when I was back for that Collision run, I didn't want to be there,
Yeah.
and it was
I,
obvious. You could tell when he was
hmm.
on TV. He, I think, wanted to come back to do something with the Bucks and Kenny. He,
I think that was the
he
main
took that
reason he did.
he took that shot at at Hangman that one time in like an after show promo when he's talking about like his figure sales or something like that.
Hmm.
But they just took it as, oh, Punk is continuing to, they never wanted to do business with him in the way that could have could have made AEW, you know, reach a level that it hadn't at that point. You
And
know, it
yeah.
the men, they could have been men about it and shook his hand and said, "I don't like you, but we're going to agree that, like so many other people have in the past, I don't like you, Jack, Nick, Matt, Kenny, Adam, whatever, whoever, but let's make money off of this. We'll have a
Yeah.
mutual,
And
respect for each
they
other
didn't
to
want
do
to.
business, to do an angle out of this, to make money off of this." And they never fucking did it. They never fucking did it. And instead of doing that, they're now just gonna go, "Oh, well, you know what? Here's what Punk did to Jack backstage."
Yeah.
This is
It's
the way
nuts.
that they're gonna address it for the first time, instead of when he was still contractually there going, "Okay,
Oh yeah. Let's sit in a room like grown-ups and talk this
you and
through.
FTR versus Kenny Young Bucks
Yeah.
was a ready-made feud when he came back at Collision.
It was the biggest match the company could put on,
That's now
without
never gonna
question.
happen.
No, not at least in AEW.
So what's the
Um,
point
yeah,
of doing this on Wednesday? He's
yeah.
not there. He can't, I'm sure he's
Because they
not
want
gonna
because
address it again.
the only way I can look at this logistically as a fan is they want to have the last word. That's all this is they said, all right, well, he
Which is
talked.
childish.
Yeah. And it goes into everything that CM Punk was talking about, how that if you just talk about how CM Punk thinks that company is run, the way, if this happens, and it's not something to like, dig at FTR because they're in the finals with the Bucks now or something like that, and this is a legitimate thing that happens, I think that this proves CM Punk right. That's how I feel. Is whether you believe CM Punk or you're one of those people that says, "No, I'm not. I'm not buying into how CM Punk does things. I don't believe everything. I don't believe it 100%." That's fine. But if this is the way they go about handling it, and they actually show footage and they actually sit there and say, "See, this is how it actually happened," however they spin it, to me, even though it might prove that CM Punk wasn't being truthful, I think it proves that CM Punk was overall right about how the company is run. Because I'm sorry, if you're a real owner, and again, we are pro AEW, and I am pro Tony Khan. I like a wrestling fan running a wrestling company.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. I like it. However, at some point, somebody needs to be a fucking grown up and somebody needs to act like a goddamn adult. And it should be the owner of the fucking company that's doing that. And to me, this sounds like this is the owner of the fucking company telling his young bucks, "Hey, we need to go protect myself. We need to go protect our blah, blah, blah. So we're going to do this." And it's like, you look like a fucking idiot.
Yeah, like,
And
the
you're making your
hashtag
company
thank
look
you
like a
AEW
bunch of
tweets.
babies and a bunch of bitches. How about you just fucking run your show and not address it? Because who gives a shit? There are people that will give a shit. There are people that are waiting behind their keyboards like, "Oh, I can't wait so I can fucking say, oh, I told you CM Punk lied." You're a fucking loser. You're a loser. Watch wrestling. Hi, Maggie. How are you? Good to see you. Thank you for popping in and saying
Oh, hi,
hello.
Maggie.
We have the lovely Maggie joining us, asking, why is this happening? I don't know.
We all are asking the same
I
question.
don't know, but it's stupid. Anyway. Okay.
Yeah.
I do have the
And,
actual, I do have the actual 5 pages of transcript of the interview with CM Punk if we wanted to dive into quotes. But like, to me, again, pro AEW guy through and through, been covering AEW on Love Wrestling since AEW, since we started. Since we started, I've had an AEW centric show. This to me, you said it's the finger poke of doom moment for AEW. It could be. This to me is something that, if 5 years from now we were to look back at the end of AEW, this would be mentioned if they do this to me. It
oh,
just is like
well,
the
yeah,
most petty
that's why I said the finger poke
nonsense
of doom
bullshit.
moment.
It's like
It's
the
it,
most nonsense bullshit.
you know,
It's like,
88
dude,
WCW beat WWE for 83 weeks, and then there was the 84th week. And this is, I think this could be the 84th week for AEW.
I can't, it makes no sense. It makes no sense.
It's,
And
and it's risk if you are a businessman, whether it be, Tony as the owner or the Bucks as the actual EVPs, not the EVP characters, but the actual EVPs of this company.
mhm,
Why risk alienating wrestling fans even more and adding to the insane tribalism that's already out there rampant?
mm,
Why risk doing that?
yeah,
It's and then the only 2 things I can think of why risk doing that is because this is like a Tony Khan major announcement to pop ratings, which is kinda gross to use this to pop a rating. If
mm,
you're doing this off TV, like I said, I'll feel a little bit better about this, but you're
yeah.
doing this to pop a rating? Really? Come on.
It just, yeah,
And
I don't
then
know.
it shows that they're never gonna be professional businessmen. They are
Yeah,
going to be unprofessional forever and just poke at people who talk badly about them like children and never actually grow into the professional businessmen that they should be being at a top level, you know, com- being top level company men, front office people,
mhm,
executives in the company shouldn't be acting like this. They shouldn't.
yeah, yeah,
And I mean, of course, the whole reason why we're at this point right now is because the owner of the company, who I like, I've never met him before, I've never talked to him before, But like you said, I am happy that a wrestling fan runs a wrestling company because that's how it should be. Like
Hmm.
you said, he wasn't a boss in the moment that he needed to be a boss 2 years ago when Brawl Out happened, and it got to this point today where Punk is no longer in the company,
Hmm.
and now we're gonna have this bullshit on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Didn't need to happen. You could have
No.
just sat them all down like a boss and said, "Figure this fucking shit out and stop your nonsense. Stop this nonsense, this bullshit between
Yeah.
the four
But
of you."
we've been saying this for a few years now when other things have happened. Lawrence mentioned Lufisto and all that crap that happened with her when she was there. And like we've been hearing stories outside of CM Punk. Sammy Guevara and Andrade got in a fight. We got, you hear
Eddie
all and this
Kingston
shit.
and Sammy
Eddie King,
Guevara.
yeah. And like that's gonna happen here or there, but like what's been the overriding factor or the overriding thing that we've heard in all these years is that, well, Tony's not really a boss. They even had a skit with Adam Cole and MJF where Tony was like pretending to be a hard ass boss backstage because of the stories of Tony not acting like a boss
Yes, I
when he's
remember.
supposed to. And now, guess what? It's a year later and he's not acting like a boss. Because if you were acting like a boss, you wouldn't, to me, honestly, even if this does turn into a parody and it does turn into just the Young Bucks making fun of FTR for being friends with CM Punk or whatever, it's still bad to me. It's still bad press to me. It's still, okay, why did you even fucking reference, like, why did you even do that? Just have the Young Bucks come out and, I don't know, the whole thing. TK airs the footage because he's a fan of Drew McIntyre. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, it's it just doesn't. Yeah, I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it's
It's
necessary.
not,
You
and,
want to come out and make a one-line dig on your show during a promo? Fine, dude. Like, I get it. That's fine. That's cool. You want to make a dig or something like that, but like to build your whole show around the fact that this is going to happen. And according to SRS at this moment, it's legitimately going to happen. Like it's not a parody or a work as of this moment. Now, between now and Wednesday, a lot of things can change. A lot of things can change, but it's just, what are we doing, man? No way that this plays out makes AEW look good. End of story. Even if it plays out to not be this, to me, it still makes them look bad because, and Maggie, I agree with you. I think that's what I was really getting to. As she says, to be fair, it's even more childish if it ends up being I fully agree. I fully agree. There's no way that this ends up looking good for AEW because you look like a bunch of bitches. You look like a bunch of babies. Oh, he talked bad about us. Well, we got to do this now. Shut up and just run your show, man. Just run your show. Just do what you were going to originally do for Dynamite. Don't even fucking reference it because you referencing it makes you look like you can't get over your ex. You childish
and
motherfucker.
and you know what? Do it if you wanna do it, but don't do it on TV. Why are you doing it on TV?
I don't know.
You know what? And I could be
I don't know.
wrong, but I feel personally that they're a bit annoyed. They're probably annoyed that Mercedes Monday didn't boost the ratings.
Well, maybe you should have her fight actually instead of just having her come out and say hello for a month straight. There's
Uh,
ways you can boost ratings.
and if
You know,
Mercedes didn't boost the ratings the way that they thought, if her debut didn't boost the ratings the way that they thought, you know, I don't know what is going to, but I know it's not gonna be this.
no.
And wouldn't it be even more poetic if this didn't boost the ratings either?
I mean, there's a chance. It
Because
might not.
then I'm be like, well, shit. Y'all need to you need to scrap every single plan that you have, go back to the drawing board and make magic again. Because good lord, if if this doesn't do it for you, if
Yeah.
Mercedes didn't do it for you, I don't know. And I'm very happy that Mercedes is there.
Yeah, and I agree with Maggie. It's not a sprint; it's a marathon. You gotta, you gotta, But I do think Mercedes. She debuted. You know, we're on 3 weeks a month now. Like, I get it. You want to make her first match feel special, but is she gonna just come out and do fucking commentary every week, or is she gonna come out and cut us one line? That's what she did on Wednesday. She came out and cut a 1 line, 2 line promo and left. She was there for 30 seconds. And it's like, okay, like, do you know what might get ratings? How about we have Mercedes main event on Dynamite or in Wrestle, even if it's a tag match, to have her do something. Her sitting at commentary that's not going to, yeah. There's just ways you can go about it. Oh, we got
And I just
Bebe in the chat saying hello. He said
Hey,
something
baby.
earlier as well, where he was just like, he's standing at the door, open to leave out that door with his wrestling fandom. It's so ridiculous. It's not entertaining. It's childish crap, and it is tiring. And Maggie says, yeah, when she's a constant in-ring competitor, we can talk because people want to see her wrestle. I think that's what it was. It was like, yes, we want to see Mercedes back in general. Yes. But we want to see her wrestle because she's really good at wrestling. And it's like, okay, she's been back. You had this big return. When do we have to wait until Dynasty? That's when we really have to see her first match because she'll be back for over a month at that point. She should be involved in something. More like that's a long time. Okada's already wrestled 3 times. They debuted within a week of each other. Like, come on now.
And you know what? This ain't even the only thing that AEW did this week, announced this week, that was like, yikes. Because right after that right after that Ariel Helwani interview with Punk,
Oh yeah, they released people.
they released people for the first
Yeah.
time.
So it did
Not
not
well,
it did
not
not
for the
make
first
them look
time,
good.
but the way that they released them
Yeah.
was the way that they did it for the first time.
Yeah.
Because Tony Khan has always said, "Hey, we're gonna let people's contracts ride out and then release them. We're not
Mhm.
gonna do it the way WWE does it."
Mhm.
And then they did it the way WWE does it,
Yeah. They did.
which has already come to a, Baby. Well, Baby just said it in some fashion, not in the literal fashion, in business fashion at least. Tony Khan is starting to become a little bit like Vince.
Oh, that's a loaded statement. So I'm not
Yeah,
I'm not gonna I'm
in
not
in in the
say
way
that.
of releasing people just at will, randomly,
Yeah.
in that
N-
fashion. And then the worst part too, like with the boys, he releases the boys, and the boys were involved in a fucking storyline on television.
Yeah, but didn't he come out and say that they didn't show up on TV multiple times?
Well,
Like he didn't show up. Was the people telling
he
that didn't
said that,
happen?
but then the boys responded with
Yeah.
screenshots of texts from the talent person at AEW and Ring of Honor, which kind of cleared them in a sense that they were getting the runaround from talent from the travel people there.
Mm,
That they did like a whole thing of like screenshots of texts of they were always flew out of one airport and they were putting them at another airport that was like 3 hours away. They couldn't get to the airport in time. They wanted to talk about doing it at the other airport and whatever. And there was a lot of miscommunication there. And it seemed like the miscommunication was put on them instead of the people that it should have been put on, which was the travel person or
yeah.
whomever made the travel decisions within the company. And they decided to release them based off of that, which looks like a garbage way to fire somebody, if that's the case.
Hmm.
Um, Anthony Henry, who's fucking injured right now.
Well, they stepped that one back, right? And they decided to
Yeah,
keep him.
it's like
Like they didn't
he's
they
like,
didn't let
oh,
that go.
when he's cleared and healthy again, he'll be back with the company. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you didn't have to release him to begin with.
No.
Yes, Maggie, that is very much the case. Miscommunication does seem to be a big issue in AEW.
Mm-hmm. And you know who that falls on? The
Tony
boss.
Khan. Falls
You
on
need
Tony
to
Khan.
communicate. Even if you got a million things going on, you need to communicate. Communication is key. That is a saying for a reason. That is a saying for a reason. In any line of work you are, communication is the most important. And it seems like there is none
Which
in
was also
AEW.
involved in the CM Punk thing, because when he got to London, there was nobody there to pick him up,
Yep.
and he had to take
Yep.
the tube, I think it's called.
Yes. We
Uh,
talked about that. That's how the interview really started. He asked him about it. And CM Punk was very much like, this was not a big deal. Like when I'm home in Chicago, I take the blue line sometimes. Like this was not a big deal to me. And yeah. And he's like, but I was on the tube with fans. They see me on the tube and they're like, what the hell are you doing here? And he was just like, you know, he was like, yeah, look at him. I'm a regular person. I got to get to the show. CM Punk made it seem like it was not as big a deal to him. He said, he goes, I think it made the company look bad. How do you not take care of your talent when I show
right.
up? I should have somebody there getting me. He goes, but in general, like having to take the tube wasn't a big deal for me. Like when I'm at home, I take the buses or the subway. I take the blue line. Like I don't care. I'm a normal human being. But like, bro, come on. That looks more bad on the company than, you know. And then, he talked about that. He addressed just, the management style, and we talked about that. He addressed like if you have some time to kill, I suggest going to listen to the CM Punk interview because he gave Ariel almost 2 hours. Like it was a sizable interview. Like he talked about a lot. Man, I don't know. I'm just hoping by the time we get to Drew, I do not. I mean, we will, but I'm hoping that next week we don't spend the first hour of this show talking about the ridiculous shit show that segment was. And I feel like that there is potential that we've talked about this for an hour. We haven't even talked about Dynamite yet. I was there, bro. I was in the building for Dynamite. We haven't even talked about it yet because we've had to spend 53 minutes talking about this. Talking about this.
Bullshit.
Oh, the
And
announcement of once I knew I wanted to talk about the Punk interview in general. We could have got that done in a half hour, but this announcement that they did overnight or early this morning, we've been going, and again, I like talking about this stuff, but we've been talking about it for an hour. We haven't even dived into the shows yet.
because we're frustrated right now.
Yeah. We're mainly going to talk about Dynamite. We will dive into Collision, but Collision was on very late last night, so Drew and I have not watched it yet. But we will talk about Dynamite mainly, and we'll address the stuff that happened on Collision at the very least, because I was in the building for it, so I saw what happened. Even though what opened with Collision wasn't the first thing we saw from Collision. But anyway, see, that shows me that they're kind of they figure it out. But any last words on this CM Punk, Young Bucks, Tony Khan thing that just will not go away, Drew? It will not go away as much as we want it to. It will not go away.
If you're gonna do this, make it mean something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't see what it could mean at this point. If it's supposed to like elevate Jack Perry.
Jack Perry's trying to like get out of AEW. Yeah, apparently he didn't apologize. Whatever. I don't know.
I mean, we don't even fucking know
Yeah.
anymore.
I don't know,
It's
man.
if this is supposed to like elevate Jack Perry or elevate the Young Bucks in some fashion, it ain't gonna do it the way they think it's going to. It's just
I would
not.
agree. I would agree.
I and then listen, something could happen between now and Wednesday that they decide not to do it, or they do something else and decide to, you know, not be petty children
Mm.
and just do an FT like the FTR thing instead or whatever. I'm just not. I'm not excited about Wednesday night, really, which is pretty much a first for me.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see. Bebe just saying TK needs to grow up. The end. Potentially, we'll see. We'll see how this all goes. But AEW was live from Worcester, Massachusetts this past Sunday. Dynamite live, a taping of Rampage, a taping of Collision.
What time
What a
did you
time.
leave?
I want to say the last match ended at about 11:50-ish.
Oh, okay, not bad.
No, because they weren't really like, it wasn't a live 2 hours, so there were no commercials for Collision. It was
Right,
really
yeah.
just kind of, and they did some Rampage stuff before
Oh,
Dynamite.
okay.
So
Did
things
they do any
started
Ring of
7.
Honor stuff?
No, at least when we got there. I got there at like 7:35, and it felt like the first match there was Rampage. They did two
Okay.
Rampages. They did 2 Rampage matches before. They did Dynamite. They did 2 Rampage matches after. Then they switched to Collision, and they went through Collision. That's how everything went. At least from what I remember. My brain is trash. I smoke marijuana sometimes. It happens. It happens from time to time. I like to dabble in that devil's lettuce, and my short-term memory has suffered greatly from it. But we move on, Drew. We move on. Okay. So
That was wonderful.
yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome for that. You're welcome for that. So we talked about what happened on Monday, the CM Punk interview, the releases. AEW had not a great day press-wise on Monday. And this Dynamite show started off with one Adam Copeland coming out, and he really gave a rah rallying speech, which again, people on I don't like
I
to
actually
address
forgot
people
about
on
this.
social media. I don't like to address people on social media unless you're being a real idiot. But like people coming out here and like bad mouthing AEW. Lou wants to come in here. People bad mouthing AEW or like Edge for this opening promo. We see this shit all the time. John Moxley did this after All In, did he not? Like he came out and kind of did like a
Raw speech.
What is the problem with this? I thought this was a very good Hi Lou. I thought this was a very good promo. I thought it was a good rallying cry promo from Copeland. He said, "Look, I've been doing this for a long time. You all know I've been doing this for a long time." Hi, bud. Oh, hi. He's like, "You all been doing this. I've been doing this for a long time. You know I've all been doing this for a long time. This is some of the most fun I've ever had. That locker room is great back there. There's a lot of young talent, which is specifically why I came here, because I want to wrestle all these people." And he listed off some names and stuff. I had no problem with this promo whatsoever. I felt like 2 days prior with AEW kind of getting dragged through the mud, that this was the type of thing that they needed. They needed somebody to go out there and say, "Hey, no, this is a great place to be. This is a good company. There are talented boys and girls here. I'm 45 years old and I want to finish my career here because of these people. That's why I came here." I had no problem with this whatsoever. I thought it was a good
I agree.
AEW promo. I don't know why so many people were like, "Oh, look what they had to. They had to drag him out there and talk a good." Just shut up. Just shut up.
The problem now is that now they can all say that about next week.
You know?
We could have kind of just left it at Adam Copeland's promo and just
I thought
moved on
so.
from there.
Yeah, I agree. It made no sense. It made no sense why so many people were like shitting on this promo. He basically just said that AEW is the best place to wrestle right now.
AEW,
the best
we're
place
the
to
best wrestle.
Yeah,
That's their
that's
new
what he
slogan
said.
right now.
Yeah, almost like WCW, where the big boys play, you know? No. But like that's what it is. AEW, where the best come to wrestle. Okay, fine. I like that. So many people were crapping on this promo, like, "Oh, they sent Edge out there to fucking blah, blah, blah." And I'm just like, just stop, dude. Just stop. Yeah, the company took a beating 2 days ago. Why not send one of the biggest personalities in wrestling ever out there to talk good about your company? He chose to go to you for a reason. You don't think WWE was willing to give him a boatload of money to stay an extra couple years? Of course they were.
Actually, it seems like they weren't.
Yeah, maybe not. But I'm sure they would have signed a contract if he wasn't so eager to go and he was, you know what I mean? Like they would have. He's Edge, for crying out loud. They would have. And so it was like, I don't know. It just makes no sense. Like, why are you shocked that this type of thing would happen? It was baffling to me.
Yeah.
But I liked the Copeland promo. I thought it was good. I thought
So
it was
did I.
good. I thought it set the night into a good tone. And then we had, which was a fantastic match, the Battle of the Wills. We had Don Callis on commentary, and it was Will Ospreay versus Powerhouse Will Hobbs, and they had a good one. They had a real damn good one here. Will Ospreay gets the victory. But this match ruled, man. As you expect with all Ospreay matches, they're just all good. But you know I love me some Powerhouse Will Hobbs around here too. And this was a very, very good opening bell for Dynamite, Drew.
Osprey's offense is really like when Seth Rollins said top level. I think that's the perfect way to put it.
Yeah,
Will Ospreay is top level.
sure is.
It's really really incredible to witness him do this, and I can't wait to see him do it live soon. You know, whenever they come back around this area,
Yeah.
it's going to be really special to see him for the first time. You got to see that, and how
It's
was that?
legit.
Just tell me what was it like seeing him live? I think for the first time wrestling, right? Or did you see him wrestle
Uh,
before?
I think I might have seen him wrestle before on one of the Mania weekends, like before. This was the first time I've seen him in this as Will Ospreay, like as this. He's clearly at a different stage right now. He's a top wrestler in the world in a top company. Like he's at a different, he's at a different. Not saying New Japan wasn't that, but like I think the one time I saw him, he was like mid tier in New Japan. He wasn't where he was. I think it was. Yeah, I think I might have seen him once before, but this was my first time seeing him properly presented as Will Ospreay. You know what I mean? That's how it felt. And he is everything as advertised. I saw him cut the promo. He cut the promo at Big Business. That I am the feeling promo that he cut there, which was a
Okay, yeah.
fantastic promo. So I've seen him in that form, and that's what's been blowing my mind. I knew how good he was in the ring before I started to see him every week. What's really blown my mind is how good of a promo and how much he is connecting with the audience already. Like I look at Will
Right.
Ospreay and I'm like, this guy's a top tier world champion caliber immediately, like walked in that way. But again, this match was really, really good. And at parts of it, even though I like Will Ospreay, I was rooting for Powerhouse to win because I was like, oh, that'd be nice. But obviously I knew he wasn't going to. But then after the match, they try to, Callis gets in there. Oh, okay. After this match, Callis gets in there and he's trying to, kind of celebrate with both, but Hobbs is pissed and he needs to be calmed down a little bit. And then as they're leaving, Bryan Danielson does the thing where he starts coming down for his match and they kind of cross paths and they have a little stare down because obviously Ospreay and Danielson is happening at Dynasty in like 3 weeks or so.
I've really enjoyed what they've done with them because
I agree.
I
agree.
think so I thought that they were doing it of like an anything you could do, I could do better type of
Yeah,
a
like a
deal.
one-upmanship kind of thing.
So I was hoping that maybe Bryan Danielson would wrestle Will Ospreay afterwards. Um, but it's really cool that they're doing this like back and forth thing respectfully between them. It's like, oh, okay, you're you're wrestling this person. Well, now I'm going to wrestle this person. And I'm going to do better than you. And I'm going to wrestle this person. I'm going to do better than you. It's a really cool dynamic there, and especially when somebody's match finishes, the other one comes out, and then they go right to their match. I really
Yeah.
like that booking a lot. That's
Mhm.
really cool.
Yeah. I like it too. And then we had a we had a Bryan Danielson match. He went on 1-on-1 against the Murder Hawk, Lance Archer. I'm just going to say this. I enjoy seeing Lance Archer more on our TV screens. He's a good, agile, big dude. I'm willing to see where they kind of go with this group that he has with the Righteous that has seemed to form here with Jake the Snake and things like that. I don't know if there'll be more of a Ring of Honor staple than AEW, but I'm glad that the Murder Hawk is back. I think, but you knew Bryan Danielson was winning this match. You knew it. And Bryan Danielson won this match. I thought it was a good match. It wasn't as good as the prior Ospreay and Will Hobbs match, but I thought it was a solid match. It was very cool to see Danielson wrestle. Been a while for me personally. In a one-on-one, I saw him in the 6-man at Big Business, but in a one-on-one situation, it had been a while. Yeah, I thought this match was fine. They're clearly building to this dream match. With Ospreay and Danielson. I'm expecting it to live up to the hype, but I thought this match was fine. And then we had our low point of the show for me, which was Chris Jericho calling out Hook. They kept this backstage. They didn't do it in the ring, which I was fine with. I had trouble hearing the beginning of it. So I don't know if Renee or Jericho said anything of importance before Hook showed up on the screen. But I really had trouble hearing until Hook actually showed up on the screen. And I felt like
nothing mattered.
Okay. And then
I
Hook
didn't even
says
pay
that
attention because I don't want
Hook
Jericho to be involved in anything anymore.
Hook said that he appreciates Jericho and he likes that Jericho's looking out for him, and he booked him in a tag match for next week. Was that the gist? I think that was the gist of what I understood that to be.
Right.
Okay. And then we had Shane Taylor and Lee Moriarty. See, I didn't see this on. They didn't show me this in the arena. But Shane Taylor and Lee Moriarty apparently cut a promo announcing that they were going to be the opponents for Hook and Jericho. That happened. We did not see that in the arena. We just saw the match happen when they did. Yeah. We then had Jay White going one-on-one with Billy Gunn. Used to be Badass Billy Gunn. I almost called him Badass Billy Gunn, to be honest with you. But Billy Gunn, never thought I would see. For some reason, whenever they come to the Boston area, or like a lot of times they come to the Boston/Worcester area, Billy Gunn gets one-on-one matches. I don't know if that is. I want to say this is like the 6th or 7th time that Dynamite or Collision have come to the Massachusetts area. And I think this is at least the 2nd one-on-one match that Billy Gunn has had. And like Billy Gunn doesn't have a lot of one-on-one matches. So I don't know if it's just something about the area that they do it. I don't know. But he had a match with Jay White. The match was fine. Billy Gunn actually won this match via DQ. So he beat Jay White. It was because of nonsense and chicanery. But he mostly dominated this match. Like, he beat the shit out of Jay White for like a lot of this match.
He did.
But White was DQ'd when he did a low blow. And then the Acclaimed, Bowens, and Caster come out to make the save, and the Guns, and then they brawl for a little bit. And yeah, that's how that happened. Yeah, this was whatever to me. I mean, I think I will be okay when Jay White and the Bullet Club get away from the Acclaimed. Do what you got to do, get through it, move on, do something else.
Yeah.
Because we even saw. Oh, God, yeah. Do your thing first, and then yeah.
Yeah. So the I agree with you there. Yes. I need us to go back to this. Just this. This was when like they were at their height.
Yeah.
That's why I'm wearing this shirt today.
Yeah.
Because I miss this version of the Acclaimed. Mm-hmm. Although I don't know if we're gonna get this version of the Acclaimed again for a long time.
I don't think so.
I
think they're closer to their end than they are their peak.
I think they're very close because I have feelings about what may be happening when they have their match.
You think Max Caster turns heel on Bowens, and then Bowens? Yep. Yeah, that's where I'm leaning. That's what I think is going to happen.
I think that Max is going to join Bullet Club Gold. I think maybe he's
Really? Oh,
already.
you think he does the full jump?
Yep. I think
Do you
he
think Billy
needs.
Gunn maybe goes over there too, and Bowens ends up being because his kids are there?
Nah, I don't think so.
So okay, so you don't think like Bowens, like everybody leaves Bowens, and he's like, you know,
No, I don't. I don't think so. I think
okay,
I think that Bowens and Billy Gunn are going to be like the new Sting and Darby in a sense.
oh, okay,
In this, just of like legend, older person in the business, mentoring younger, very talented wrestler, like that dynamic. Not that
yeah,
Anthony Bowens is going to start jumping 50 feet off of things and
yeah,
and all that stuff. So I think what needs to happen here is we need to have a classic big heel moment
hmm,
where in the match between these two teams,
yep,
they book a spot where you realize that Max Caster at the
hmm,
start of this match was already part of the other team, and he was just leading Anthony and Billy on, and
oh,
he's the reason why they lose.
okay, okay. I'm not against that. I'm not against that. I think that could be fun.
I think that what maybe AEW has already realized is that the rapping gimmick has run its course,
It's potential. Yeah.
and I think that Max's personality would work really well in this current iteration of Bullet Club Gold,
Mm.
just full of like young pieces of shit,
Hmm.
basically. Like they're pieces of shit,
Yep.
and Max lately is kind of doing a really good job of looking like a piece of shit on Twitter lately, and I feel like that could be setting the stage to him leaving Anthony Bowen, ensuring that he is the reason why they lose if they do a unification match
Hmm.
between the two six-man titles. He is the reason why the Acclaimed lose because he already joined Bullet Club Gold and is
Okay.
going to be the involved in the big old piece of shit Bullet Club Gold team. Because I actually think that like I said, I think that his heel personality would fit
Hmm.
in good with them.
Okay.
And they need to do something where this breakup elevates both people.
Okay. I'm not against it.
I say both people because it's really about Anthony and Max. Billy is Billy. He's had a 30-year career. He's done it all. Anthony needs to be the centerpiece, like Darby was with Darby and
Hmm.
Sting. So that's why I made the Darby Sting comparison here. Anthony needs to be the centerpiece when they break up,
Yep. Okay.
and Max needs to kind of be reinvented in this new heel way because the Acclaimed thing, it as much as I want it to be this,
Yep.
I don't think it'll ever be this again until they break up. Maybe they can come back together in a
Yeah. They
year or
have like a.
two,
Yeah.
you know. But
It's fair.
Max needs to do the heel thing, and he will get a loud, visceral heel reaction
I
by
agree.
costing the Acclaimed that match, and Anthony will get the big babyface reaction when they fight each other,
Yes.
and he propels up, maybe. maybe Anthony could go for this. That would be nice. This title right above my shoulder. Maybe he
I think
can
they have a
move up.
solo. Yeah, I think they have a solo star in Bowens. Like he's legitimately like once once he is a single star and he is removed from the acclaimed gimmick, I think they got a stud there, man.
But
Okay.
it needs to
What
be
do
in a way that benefits both of them.
I agree. I agree. Before we move on to the rest of the show, what do you think about this? Scott in the chat says Billy Gunn can't be getting this much offense against a top wrestler.
I
How do you feel
totally
about
agree
that?
with that.
I agree too.
Totally agree with that. I didn't
I
actually
agree.
really like this match that much.
It was fine. It was in the arena. It was exciting because there was a lot of chaos, and
Because
a
it's
lot
Billy
of,
Gunn.
yeah.
So understandable.
And like
And of course
again,
they overbooked it
you're talking
to
to somebody who's 38 years old. I was in that building when Billy Gunn was very much involved in the match that led Mankind to beat The Rock for the WWF title. In the match, we talked about 83 weeks earlier in the 84th week. Well, that 84th week was the week that Mankind won the title. And it was a taped Raw, but I was there. And if you remember that match, everyone remembers Stone Cold coming out and making that big moment because that is one of the biggest pops of all time. But what the thing in that match that really started for it to pop off to that ending was Ken Shamrock got involved and attacked Mankind. And Billy Gunn, of
right.
all the people, Billy Gunn was the one from DX that got in the ring and took Shamrock out. And that crowd fucking went ape shit when Billy Gunn did that. And then it turned into the chaos that becomes that moment that everybody remembers, the glass shattering and that building almost literally impaling to the ground. That thing was shaking. So it was unbelievable. I was like 13 years old. I was like, this is fucking, I don't even know what's going on. But yeah, anyway.
I didn't know that you were there for that major
Oh, I
moment
was
in
there,
wrestling
brother.
history.
Yeah, they taped it. I think it was like 2 days before or 2 days after Christmas. It was on one of the ends of Christmas, but they taped it because it was either a New Year's episode or a Christmas. It was some holiday episode. So they taped it and they told everybody there. They were like, "Hey, you can't tell anybody that this is like." They made it clear, like, you listen. This is airing a week from now. They didn't come out and just say, "Hey, you're going to witness some big shit, so don't tell anybody." But they came out and they were basically like, "Hey, this is pre-social media. This is
Right.
pre." So again, things weren't going to spread the way, like, I think I told my friends at school the next day. I was like, "Bro, this fucking happened." And we were all just like, but like, it wasn't going to spread the way that it was going to spread now. Now, if you tape something, it's on every website an hour after, like, as it's happening.
It's
And you can
every
go on Twitter
website.
and
Yeah, like 2 minutes.
like you can just find okay, don't got to watch that now. This was pre-social media. This was, even for me, this was pre-cell phones. I didn't even have a cell phone at this moment in my life, being a 13-year-old kid. You know what I mean? So this was like very, very pre everything. So like, even if you did go out and tell your friends and stuff, like, the shit wasn't going to, somebody in Missouri wasn't going to know what was happening. If I went and I told everybody I knew, like, shit wasn't spreading that fast back then. But they made it clear to the crowd. They were like, "Hey, this is a taped one. So like, don't tell anybody what you see here." And I was like, "All right, rock and roll, dude." But anyway, I digress. So what happened next though, Drew? This Willow Nightingale promo. Let me tell you, Drew, this Willow Nightingale promo, and she
I loved
look
this.
at, she leaned in to the local establishment. Like, she leaned in because, in this promo, very passionate promo. I think this is her best promo I've ever seen her cut, personally. But this was a fantastic promo. She talked about Worcester, Massachusetts, where we were. She talked about what it meant to her. She mentioned the White Eagle, which was across town from where they were. There's an independent wrestling company based out of the Northeast. Their name is Beyond Wrestling. If you don't know Beyond and you want to get to know some independent, go watch Beyond Wrestling, because they are incredible. A lot of people have come through Beyond. And one of the people, if you would go to Beyond shows, one of the people that you would see at almost every one of these shows was Willow Nightingale. And she would have as good a match as you would expect her to have. The crowd loved her as you would expect the crowd to love her. But when she mentioned across the town and she mentioned the White Eagle and she kind of leaned into that, you heard the pop. Like that pop was loud when she mentioned the White Eagle. That whole arena blew up there a little bit.
Yeah.
Massachusetts has a strong wrestling community, chaotic wrestling for more kind of where I'm located in Massachusetts, and Worcester, which is like an hour and a half drive beyond in other New England wrestling. But Beyond is a staple of Worcester. And Beyond is one of the top independents in the world, I think, but in the country for sure. Love this promo, Drew. Loved her talking about her history. Loved her saying, I'm going to be the next TBS champion. I love Julia Hart, and I love that whole thing, but I think Willow should beat her. And I think you go Mercedes and Willow. I think that's the match. We never got the right finish for it because of Mercedes' injury with New Japan. I think I have Willow Nightingale beating Julia Hart at Dynasty right now. I think it's the time. I think it's time. Julia Hart is excellent. I wouldn't mind Julia Hart moving more towards the main women's title picture. I love Willow Nightingale, but I love this promo. I thought it was so good. And it might mean more to me than some because of the local ties and how she kind of talked about the localness of it. But I loved this promo, Drew. Loved it.
No, yeah, I agree. I also loved the manner of which they did it too, because
Yep.
it was
Stokely as
very
well.
AEW's been doing these different shots and there's different angles with their with the camera work, and I really liked how they had. I mean, it probably looked a little strange in the building for everyone's back to be to you, but I actually thought that. But one, it was clearly it was a shot for TV because it looked awesome on TV. Like
Yep.
having the crowd almost be part of the promo by being shown in that way.
Yep.
I really like that a lot. So
I
maybe,
would agree.
in the building it might not translate as well, but if you watch it back on TV, it looks awesome. It's definitely a very good look for a promo to feel like the audience is a part of that and add to it like that. I think it was really nice to do it that way. Um, like that was probably one of her best promos. She
Agreed.
was getting a little emotional and talking about, of course, being local to that area. She was getting a louder reaction than, some were gonna get talking about, if she was in if this was in Michigan
Yeah.
and she's talking about Boston local, it's not gonna get that much of a reaction. So it really was
Agreed.
very nice to have her cut this promo, see the crowd reacting to it in real time as them looking like they're like the background of the whole thing. Um, so yeah, I loved everything about this. This was so good, and I definitely think Willow needs to be the TBS champion.
Yeah. I agree. All right. We then had, in my opinion, the most newsworthy thing that happened in the evening. We had a tag match. It was a semifinal in the AEW World Tag Team Championship Tournament. It was the Young Bucks versus the Best Friends, Orange Cassidy and Trent Beretta. Very good match, as you would expect. Sue was there at ringside. If I knew Sue was going to be there, I would have tried to have met her earlier and been like, you're on the end credits for my show. Literally every week, my show Between Two Beards, you are on our end credits. I would have tried to have chatted with her. But Sue was there. Chucky T was there. It was a family affair in the Best Friends, but they come up short. The Young Bucks win, and they advance to the finals of this tournament. The match was very good, as you would expect with these four, but it was really what happened after the match that was the newsworthy thing, Drew.
Oh yeah, very much so.
Big time. So do you want to talk about the match at all before we dive into the whole thing of it? Okay.
So we could just talk about the big thing that happened.
Young Bucks win. Very good competitive match. And afterwards, even in defeat, Chucky T gets in the ring. He's in one corner. Orange Cassidy's in another corner. and Trent is in another corner. And I actually said this aloud, Drew, before it happened. When I was looking at the screen, I saw Trent's face, and I leaned into my friend that I was with, and I said, Trent can turn here. I think Trent could turn here. And I just kind of backed up like this. And then they went to do their hug. And as they were coming in, Trent gave the running gobstopper knee right to OC and dropped him. Oh, it was unbelievable. And the whole crowd was like, what? And
Where
I
were
was
you
sitting there like
sitting?
this. We were on the side the camera faces, like not that first section, but right. We were loge, but we were kind of like a little
Okay.
on. Actually, the stage was, so it was like, if you're looking at the camera, we would be up here, kind of
Okay.
ish. But dude. And so he hit that. Everyone's like, whoa. And I'm just sitting there just going, I knew it.
Your mic went out. Yeah, I can't hear you right now.
Can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you. Yes.
Fuck it. This microphone is such a piece of trash. And it's a new mic too. Giving me problems all the time.
What mic
I
is
hate
it?
this thing. It's actually a good one. It's a Steel Series. It's like they're one of the highest rated.
You know when it goes out too. How do you know when it goes out? If you're okay, you probably have like if you're connected to the microphone like me, then I can hear my voice. So maybe you oh yeah. So hey, this is the Drew show at the moment.
Can you hear me though? Can you hear me
Oh,
now?
okay. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
No, you go ahead. I want you to talk because this mic is, I'm telling you, bro. Anyway, continue.
You should get one of these.
That's what I had. I had my old Snowball, right? And it died. And I got this one because this one is actually rated higher than that one. But this one's been giving me problems since the day I fucking got it. Piece of trash. Anyway, continue. Yeah. So talk about the turn, bro. I think that's what you were talking about. So talk about the turn.
Sorry, I've been like looking over here smiling a little bit because I actually have the Slammy Awards on. And
I'm not watching those.
Drew McIntyre just did a funny thing with Chelsea Green. The last week when we didn't do a show last week. That was Easter. The show before that, I said give it to Best Friends because they've been there since the start of the company. You might as well. Let's just finally put the tag team titles on them.
Yeah, I agree.
Oops.
Whoops. Yeah, nope, not that.
But you know what? If you weren't going to do that, this is the next best thing because it's about damn time.
Yeah.
No group should be together this long without any progression in their story between them. Really, I mean, they've had like, Chris Statlander was with them for a little while and then wasn't, and Orange Cassidy had the Continental Championship.
Yep.
So, there have been things, but they never won the tag titles. They never won the trios titles. So, what's the point?
Yeah.
Well, there is no more point because there's no more Best Friends.
No. Well,
and I mean, at least
do
for
we think
now,
Chucky
there's no
T?
Trent
Yes.
in the Best Friends.
Yes. I was gonna say Chucky T. He wasn't like, obviously Orange Cassidy is laid out, right? Because he just got the knee. But like Chucky T to me in this moment, and I don't know how they portrayed it with commentary, he didn't look one way or the other. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like he didn't look
weird.
like he was super duper upset that Trent did that, but he didn't look happy that Trent did it. He was very much kind of, I don't know. He seemed shocked, but he didn't seem upset or angry or happy. It was a very emotionless almost Chucky T. So I could see that going either way.
I think what's going to end up happening is next week or whenever they do the "This is why
Mhm.
this happened" promo,
Yep.
it's going to be revealed that Chuck and Trent have pretty much kind of not wanted to be with Orange Cassidy for a little bit,
Mhm.
but Trent was the one that wanted to do something about it,
Yep.
while Chucky was like, "Oh, it's still Orange. He's still our friend. We should be by his side. Yeah, I agree with you. Maybe, we should do our own thing. And, we haven't progressed as a
Mhm.
team in 5 years.
Yep.
But he's a good friend. He's a good guy. I feel like Trent wanted to do that. Chucky was 50-50 on it. And that's
Mhm.
how they portrayed it in the moment.
Agreed.
Like you just said, Chucky was like, "Oh, why'd you do that?" But also, pretty much knew this was coming.
Mhm.
So I was like, "Yeah, I agree with you, Trent, but I also feel bad for Orange Cassidy." He did that really well. Like,
Yeah, I
he
really
had the
did.
confliction in his face, just standing there. Like,
Mhm.
Sue, Trent's mother, did more of the reaction that you would have expected
Yes.
Chucky to have when he
Correct.
got out of the ring. Like, what the hell was that? Why'd you do, Like, she didn't know that was coming at all.
Mhm.
But Chucky kinda knew it was coming.
Yep.
So that was
And
really
that's
well
that's the
done.
vibe that I got from Chucky. Like he he wasn't necessarily happy or unhappy that it happened, but like I think Chucky felt that this was coming at some point.
Yeah.
And so he wasn't shocked by it, type of thing.
But he
Whereas
also
Sue,
kind of agreed with it too.
that's the vibe I got. Like, Wits, is he against this really? Because I didn't get that vibe that he was like, what the hell, man? Like he wasn't doing that type of stuff. He was very much like just kind of looking at him like, all right, like I can see why he did that, kind of, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, because
So
he was
intriguing.
50-50 on it.
Yeah, yeah,
He's like,
I like
"Oh,
it.
I don't like that this was done, but we've also talked about this already, so I kind of
Yeah.
agree with you,
Mm,
but I like Orange Cassidy as a person, so I wouldn't have done this,
yeah.
but I also kinda agree with you too." So it was very well done. It was one of the honestly, it was like
It was a
I
good one.
was I
It
didn't
was a good one.
expect it at all,
Yeah. Yeah.
and when it happened, it was like the Okada heel turn. It was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, yeah, I'm into this."
Yeah. And I think that's a good match at Dynasty. If you throw just a one-on-one with Trent versus Orange Cassidy, like that's a good. I like Trent a lot.
With
I've liked him even
Chucky
back
with
with
Chucky as a
Chucky. Kind of,
referee.
you could do that. You could
That
do
would
that, or
be
just
that would
Chucky,
be amazing.
Chucky at ringside, just kind
Or
of
at
in the
ringside, yeah.
middle, But as the referee would be a lot of fun. Um, All right. We then had the main event match of the evening, which was a women's number one contender match between Mariah May and Thunder Rosa. This was a very good match between these two. I liked it a lot. And Thunder Rosa, Tony Storm was on commentary. I have not come back to listen to it. I assume she was fantastic, as always, with her quips in her one liners and things of that nature. But Thunder Rosa ended up winning here. So it seems like they are going the route of Thunder Rosa being the number one contender. She's going to be challenging Tony Storm, I would assume, at Dynasty for the AEW Women's Championship. I'm glad to see Thunder Rosa back up in this level of the card because she never lost that belt, Drew. Never lost it.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, I thought this was a good match between her and Mariah May. I'm excited about the match between her and Thunderstorm and Tony Storm. Thunder Rosa, I'm sorry, and Tony Storm. That should be a good one. Um, yeah, I don't have a ton more to add to it. I thought this was, like I said, solid match. Feels right that Thunder Rosa won it. Um, and I expect her and Tony Storm to absolutely kick ass at Dynasty.
And I
Absolutely
love
kick ass.
they're still doing the, like, half shot, half black and white, half color whenever Tony Storm is on the one side and then her opponent is on the other. And I love that. That's so cool.
Yep, I agree. I agree. I liked everything they did here. Did anything? stick out about Tony on commentary? Like, was she just being her old, like, kind of funny character self? Did anything
No,
stick
she was
out
just being
for you?
yeah, she was
Okay.
doing her thing.
I didn't know because I was not privy to the
Yeah.
commentary side of things for the evening. All right, we then had our main event segment, and it was a very good. At least it showed up real well in the building. Samoa Joe, Swerve Strickland, contract signing for their upcoming world title bout at AEW Dynasty. As most contract signings do, this
Again, how do you know when it goes out while you're talking? Does it have, like, a light on it? Nope, can't hear you. Do you have a do you have a backup mic in case that, like, just goes out completely? Like, if it goes out, do you have a backup microphone?
hello?
Hello, hi, I hear you now.
Okay. Jesus Christ, this microphone. I don't even know if I'll be able to make it to the end of the damn show.
If
This
you if you
fucking
if you
microphone.
have if that, like, permanently went out, do you have a backup microphone?
No. You would be soloing the show until we ended. Or we would just end abruptly. So
Shit. Well,
yeah. And that I don't get it. This microphone is literally I bought it in January, dude. It's like 3 months old.
and
And
it's
it's been giving me
supposedly a
these
good one.
it's been giving me these problems with connect like my shit will just go out whether I'm in a show or in a stream, it'll just pop out like that randomly. And it's not just the mic either. All of a sudden I'll hear the noise like in my computer, like the do do do, like something's not working. The
Right.
mic will go out, my keyboard and my mouse, the lights go out, and my stream deck goes out. All of it
Oh,
just
so
goes out.
it
All
it
four of
affects
them,
everything?
all four of those things, the lights, because they're all lit up. Like there's like lights that come with them.
Oh,
All four of them,
that's gotta be
the
a
lights go
mechanical
out.
issue.
Yeah, the lights go out and then it kind of just boots back up in 30 seconds and everything's working again. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on, dude?
The mic has nothing to do with those things.
No, they're all connected to, yeah, but like it doesn't turn off the computer. It doesn't turn off, all the other stuff that's connected here stays on. My lights stay on, my camera stays on, my monitor, but it's just these four things just all pop off.
That's gotta
And
be
I'm
a
like,
mechanical
okay,
issue.
well, I don't know what the hell's going on, bro. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah,
But
for
either way,
that to affect those other things that is not directly connected to, that's gotta be a
yeah.
mechanical issue.
Yeah. And I'm dumb. I know nothing for somebody who like does this type of stuff and streams a lot. I know nothing about computers. If something breaks, I don't know how to fix it. I have to Google, YouTube, or ask anybody if they could help me fix. I don't know how to fix things when it comes to computers because I'm a clown when it comes to tech. But I'm just kind of like, all right, whatever. But regardless, we're almost done. We can get through it. So they had this contract signing. It ended up in violence, as a lot of these contract signings do. Um, Joe beat the shit out of Swerve here. Absolutely
Yeah.
beat the crap out of him with that chain
He
in the
did.
corner. It looked like he was going to kill that man. It looked like Swerve was dying. Uh, and then at the end of this, Samoa Joe is leaving, and all of a sudden you just start hearing Swerve start laughing on the microphone, and Joe, this just sadistic, like laughing, and he goes, "Is that all you got, Joe? Is that all you got?" He's like, "I love this shit. I love this stuff." And he's bleeding. And he takes the pen and he basically just he grabs the tip of the pen and he like covers it in his own blood. And he signs the contract with the bloody pen and his bloody handprint. And that's how. And then Joe gets back in the ring and he gives him a Uranagi through the table. And that's how we do it. And that's how this whole thing ended. It was violent. I love seeing the sadistic side still of Swerve, where he's just sitting there just going, hell yeah, bro. Hell yeah. He's like, I love this stuff. Do you not remember the match I had with Hangman not too long ago, bro? Like, this is my wheelhouse. Beat the crap out of me. Make me bleed. That's what I love, dude. You can't beat me that way, Joe.
He's
I'm not I'm not those guys that you can just beat that way. Like, I love it. This is what I'm here for, is this type of stuff.
this this has the potential to make Swerve legitimate star in the industry. I mean, he's already a star, but
But once you become a world champion, that It's different. It's different.
It is, and I think it's time. I think it's
Yeah,
time.
it's happening. I am pretty confident that this is. I think the triple threat, him losing with Hangman in there, was worked well to get to this one-on-one. Swerve cannot lose the one-on-one. He needs to. You're having the one-on-one for the title. You got to give it to him. You got to give it to
Joe
him.
had a
You gotta let
good
that guy
run.
run.
I
Oh, dude,
really
he's made
enjoyed
that
Joe's
belt.
run.
Yeah, 100%.
He elevated the title when it was not looked at so fondly at the end of MJF's run.
Yep.
And I'm very happy that we got to see this from Joe.
Big time.
And but
Oh, it's
Swerve
time.
is the guy.
Oh my God, yeah.
He needs that title now.
100%.
It's time. And it's just, he has this evil, sinister laugh. Like that laugh that you mentioned. That, like when I heard him laughing and then he's bleeding like crazy,
Oh,
smears his blood all over the contract, signs it in blood.
pen. Yep.
It's like, how do you not do it right now? Just do it.
Mhm.
And maybe when Hangman comes back, they'll have their one-on-one feud.
Maybe.
It's so beautiful. Swerve is a godsend to the wrestling business.
Agreed.
Honestly,
Agreed.
like he's so incredible, so
Mhm.
incredible. And I don't. It's like how WWE missed out huge with this guy.
Oh my God.
Like
Yeah.
he
Again,
is world
yeah.
championship material.
Yeah. And
100%.
I think the guy that's running WWE now knew that, but the guy that was running WWE back then did not.
Yeah.
And I bet you if Triple H had a short list of a few people that he did not want to let go, I believe Swerve would be on that list. Swerve would be on that list. Adam Cole probably would be on that list. Keith Lee, I would assume. There would be a list. The people that were in NXT with Triple H were there for a reason, because I think Triple H is smart enough to know the caliber of these individuals.
Yeah.
And, it is what it is. And that was Dynamite. Solid show. I thought it was a solid show. I think compared to the last 3 or 4 weeks before this, it was a little bit of a step back because they were coming in hot, man. The last months of Dynamite
Just
were hot.
won a Slammy for something. I don't know what, because I wasn't paying attention.
Who just did?
CM Punk.
Oh boy.
What Slammy?
Best return or something like that.
It was OMG moment of the year when he returned.
Yeah, returned. Yeah, that's what I assume.
I'm just like, I just wanted to see if maybe he was going to mention something, because
No, he wasn't. He wouldn't.
but
He's
probably
better than
not. No.
Yeah. So on Rampage, we're just going to run through the results here, really. We had Malachi Black defeat Christopher Daniels. That was the thing that happened. We had the AEW International Championship Eliminator match. Roderick Strong beat a guy that they called London Lightning. Okay. Serena Deeb beat Trish Adora. And they had a Final Four elimination match. This was fun. Daniel Garcia defeated Brian Keith, Commander, and Action Andretti. So that happened on Rampage. And then on Collision, we had the other semifinal of the tag team tournament, which FTR defeated Top Flight. So we are getting the Young Bucks versus FTR once again in the finals to crown the tag team champions. I think that makes sense. We then had Pac defeat Encore Moore in a squash match, and then he basically called out Okada and said, "Hey, I'm ready to fight you, Doug." Scott said he's waiting for Keith Lee to finally come back and cost Swerve this championship, pay it off. If he's healthy, I'll tell you what, though, I wouldn't want him to cost his championship, but I wouldn't mind a Swerve Strickland versus Keith Lee eventual match finally for the title. I think that'd be okay. If they wanted to do that. If Keith Lee is healthy enough to do that, that would be cool. We had Lion Hook. That's what they're calling them now? They defeated Shane Taylor Promotions. I was rooting for Shane Taylor Promotions on that one, but I knew. I did not see, apparently Dustin Rhodes cut a promo backstage. I did not see that. That was not shown to us.
Yeah. He's going to be fighting for the AEW championship on Wednesday.
Okay. Cool. All right, whatever. That's fine. Joe can beat the crap out of him. That'll be fine, I guess.
Yeah, whatever.
Swerve had a little bit of it. Yeah.
I know the promo was very I didn't see it, but apparently it was very good. But
yeah, that was not shown to us. I'm
just like,
how
that's not necessary.
Yeah. House of Black defeated Christopher Daniels, Brian Keith, and Matt Sydal. They had a nice little 6-man. Adam Copeland came out. Well, he was outnumbered, really, but Adam Copeland attacked House of Black there. Mark Briscoe, the new Ring of Honor World Champion, by the way. Congrats to him. That was cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really cool.
Very cool. Mark Briscoe tried to make the save, but they were beaten up, and then FTR came out. The Young Bucks brawled with FTR, but yeah, it was a whole bunch of nonsense happening there. Ricky Romero was interviewed by Lexi Nair. I don't think they showed us that. I don't think they showed us that either. Lion Hook, we did see this. They challenged Shane Taylor's promotion with Anthony Ogogo to a trios match.
Yes.
But they need to get a third man, and Shibata was the one that said he would help them. So that's going to happen. Lion Hook and Shibata versus
Shibata?
Yeah, Shibata was the one. So it's going to be Jericho, Hook, and Shibata versus Shane Taylor, Lee Moriarty, and Anthony Ogogo. Scott saying that he challenged Joe on Wednesday. He said he talked about the one thing he never accomplished during his 35 career. Yeah, being a world champ, right? I don't think Dustin Rhodes was ever a world champ. Yuka Sakazaki defeated Trish Adora. This was a nice little match. Okay. Serena Deeb appeared on the ramp after the match calling out Yuka Sakazaki. So that's going to happen. I did not see the Daniel Garcia, Matt Menard promo backstage. I did not see that. They did not show us that.
Okay.
Claudio defeated the Butcher. That happened. The vignette with Sky Blue and Julia Hart we did see. Hart said the end of her story with Willow Nightingale is coming soon. Hart then called out Mercedes Moné and said that she should roll her dice on the Princess of the Black Throne. I did not see Dustin, or I did not see Joe's response. They did not show those to us at all. And then we had the main event was Penta versus Commander, which was a fun little match, but Penta got the win, and then Adam Copeland showed up to end the show by staring off with Penta, and Penta stood strong to end the show. So that's what happened there, Drew.
All right.
That's what happened.
Well, it was an interesting week in AEW land, and it's gonna be an even more interesting week next week.
Yeah, I feel like this is the first week in a while for AEW where the outside of the ring stuff overtook the inside of the ring stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like it had been a little while. Dash, I agree. I think we both agree that at Dynasty, Willow should be getting that strap. I think she should be getting it. I think you raise up Julia Hart to the next level, world championship, if you want. And I think Willow, and then you get Willow and Mercedes, I think is where you go there. All right, Drew. That was AEW for the week. We spent literally more time talking about the out of the ring stuff than we did the ring stuff, but I think this week that was going to happen with how the week started for AEW. But again, I thought Dynamite was pretty solid. I like where they're going with Dynasty. I think Dynasty is shaping up to be a good show as we get closer to that. I'm sure we'll be diving in more, having a preview that Sunday. I believe it's on a Sunday still. That Sunday and things like that. But all in all, another good week. If you are on the other side of things, I hope you're enjoying your WrestleMania weekend. So much wrestling. Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor, GCW, and the Collective has been doing a ton of good stuff. Yeah. Night 1 of Mania last night was excellent. I thought NXT Stand and Deliver was very good. And we have Night 2 of Mania coming up, and then Raw after Mania tomorrow. There's just so much stuff going on. It's the biggest wrestling weekend of the wrestling calendar year. Hopefully everyone's having a good time. They're enjoying whatever you like. Doesn't matter here or there. Just enjoy it, guys. It's fucking wrestling at the end of it. Like, what are we getting ourselves in so much of a tizzy and all these things? Like, just pick what you like, watch what you like, and enjoy what you like. I like it all, so I watch it all. Just enjoy wrestling, dudes. This is the best weekend of the year. Like, this is what we're fucking here for. So, yeah, that's how I feel. I think that was supposed to be an emoji. But anyway, Drew, let the people know where they can find you, and then I'll do my thing. We can get on out of here and get ready for WrestleMania Night 2 in a few hours, baby.
Yeah. You can find me at the Drew Nicholas on Twitter. You can find me on the Roundtable Pro Wrestling podcast, where we'll be doing a watch along of Night 2. We did a watch along of Night 1 last night. Is Love Wrestling doing a watch along also?
Lawrence did one last night for Night 1. I don't know. I think we'll find out on brunch probably, which happens in a little bit over an hour. I don't know if he's doing the Night 2. I don't know if he committed to both nights. If he's here in the chat, maybe he'll let us know, but he did it last night.
Okay. Well, if not, and you would like to be on a watch along, you can come along and watch with us if you want. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah.
If you want to. I know I just put you on the spot on the show, but this is just if you want to. We'll be watching Night 2 at Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast on Twitch, and I cover the super chats and humper chats for the Fightful post collision show, which we did not have obviously yesterday. But we will again next week. Battle of the Belts, by the way, is next week.
Yeah, that is coming. So we'll probably discuss that.
Bullshit show that doesn't matter. And
you think anytime they'll do one, they'll do a change just to
hopefully
do it?
They prove me wrong and do it next week. But I doubt it. And those places you can find me, and here every Sunday at 10 a.m. for Firmly AEW.
I love it. You can find me at JPJ Loves Gaming on all social media platforms. You'll see all our links at the bottom of this video for Drew, for me, for Love Wrestling. So you can find me kind of anywhere there, YouTube, Twitch, all the social media platforms. Every Sunday, 10 a.m. here with my buddy here, Drew, talking AEW. Every Thursday night, 8 p.m., same channel here on the YouTube with the flagship show of Love Wrestling, Between Two Beards with our friend Pluggo. Yeah, that's where you can find us. Subscribe to me, subscribe to Drew, subscribe to Love Pro Wrestling. Big weeks, big stuff ahead. We enjoy talking it up with you every Sunday. So appreciate you all being here. And you guys know the drill. Until next Sunday. Peace out.